If you ever needed to pull up your bobbin thread and you have a multi-needle machine, this is a Janome MB4. The way that I do it on my Janome MB4 is I hit the start-stop button here 2 times really fast. So this particular design here, it's a nested block that I digitized, and it's for my quilt and the hoop projects. And it starts right here, the design does, and then it stitches like that. I should tell you though that I don't do it this way anymore because it's too hard. It's too hard to get a clean tie on. Machines, multi-needles especially, they need something to pull against to make a clean tie on. So I don't start this design here anymore. I start it here with a basting stitch, and I baste all the way up, and then I jump to this point, this starting point. And so then all of these basting stitches, they come out so easy. There's not even a tie on at the beginning of them. So this is my long thread tail that I can bury when I'm done. But if you did have a design where you did need to pull up the bobbin thread, this is how I used to do it. So this is the older version of this design. So, and it's also the version that a single needle machine could use. If your design starts stitching towards you, like this one does, it starts here and it stitches towards me, you really don't want to be hooking it up into the spring because you could have problems. It could run over the threads and so on. You have to hold it off to the side or at an angle in the top right corner or something, and that's what I'm going to do. So, but I'll take this off, so the design is going to start here and then stitch around. This is the design template. It's really the ghost template. It has the future and past renditions. They nest into each other, so it's really a nice block. There's no point to point. It's just, they're just nested. But so we don't need this template on. So to pull up the bobbin thread then, I grab the thread, push back the tension, release, pull out some thread, and push the tension lever forward. And I'm going to hit start once, and on my machine I get a warning up here on the screen that says machine starts to run. So I hit it once, machine starts to run, and then I hit it 2 times really fast. And then I pull on the top thread, and there's my bobbin thread. So now I have both threads, and for me to start this stitch cleanly, it's really hard. So you really want to take these threads and wrap them around your finger just once because you don't want to get hurt. But it has to be a nice firm way for it to pull against. Sometimes it's better if you keep it lower, but then that's hard to get a good grip. So maybe just on the hoop would work. So anyways, I'm gonna have it stitch only 3 stitches. So I'm gonna hit start, get the warning, and then count 1, 2, 3. So the 1 is start, 2 is whatever, and then 3 is stop. Hopefully that'll work. Sometimes it doesn't. So I'll hit start once, get the warning. Now I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3. And I think it took 3 stitches. So I'm going to take these 2 threads and I'm going to pull one and I get nothing. And if I pull the other one, it pulled a little. Okay, I pulled up a loop of some sort. You can see a loop there. And now I have to pull these 2 tight to try to get rid of that loop. And it's not letting me. So there, I was able to pull them tight. You know, like you're tightening a knot. But that's hit or miss. That's really hard to do. So now there's a knot, so it should be fine. I used to just let it take 1 stitch or 2 stitches and then pull the knot, but then you just pulled everything out. So maybe it should just be 1, 2 quick again and let it just take 1 stitch and then 1 stitch again. You know, at least you can get 2 stitches then. So, but at any rate, now it's tight, and now I'll hit start, get the warning, and hit start and let it stitch. But then you have to stop it because, you know, for this design, I have to pull the thread and follow the needle now. I know the needle's going that way, you know, making a loop. And so then I would just, I have the 2 threads here, and I would hit start. And then just lay those in the back because it's done stitching there. And then that would be it. Just gonna cut the threads here. So I probably got a good tie on there, but I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it did, because I was able to get those loops out, but I had to pull really hard to get them out. And, you know, that doesn't always happen. It's very inconsistent. So that's a nice little knot. But like I said, that doesn't always happen. And the front is even nicer. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I would bury those threads. I could bury them in the front or the back. It doesn't matter. But a lot of times I still pull them and tighten them. If you take this to the back and feed it to the back, it would get even smaller, and then bury it in the back. I would take it through like probably the same hole that it came out of. So I stick the needle down in the hole that was already made. For this step, you put it in the hole that was already made. But when you bury it, you have to make a new hole. Now see, I didn't come in right. So you do want to check that. So I can't really see with the camera in my way. I think I'm good now. And then from here, you would take your finger, twist it around, stick your thumb through it, take the thread, tail, grab it with your fingers and pull the loop out. And then you have a loop. And it's nice to hold the the loop towards your stitching, your previous stitching. Stick the needle in the loop 1/4 of an inch away from where the threads came out of. Pull tight on the needle, pull the needle out. Now you have a knot. And now I like to go in like 1 stitch in, but in a new hole. So I go underneath. I kind of go underneath a thread, a stitch rather. Not in a stitch penetration, but between 2 stitch penetrations and under that thread. And then snag it. Pull out some slack. Needle nose are good to have on hand. I didn't get them all, so I have to redo it. Okay. And then sometimes if you push it in a little, then you see the slack and you can pull on it. It's just more helpful. Okay. And then you just snap it in. Pull on this, slant your scissor, and cut. So, you know, I got lucky there, but should I have done it 2 times instead of, or should I have let it just stitch 2 times instead of the 3? I've tried that before, and 2 stitches is, sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not. Like I said, it's very inconsistent. So now what I do, if I take this same design and I pull up the version I'm doing now, I'll actually pull it up and then rotate it. So it's not this one. Let's see. Vertical jump is what I'm calling it. This one. So I don't need the cross here for this tutorial. So you can see there's this funny stitching here. Well, that's the basting stitches. They start here and they go up and then jump to the design. So I'm going to flip this though. Menu, edit, next page. I'm going to flip it horizontally and then vertically. That gets it to rotate 180 degrees. So this here will be down here and it'll be facing the other way. So now it starts here and goes down and then jumps to the starting right there. So I'll say okay. And so for this, I also have to fast forward past the crosshair. So let's just pretend like we used the crosshair and got our center and rotation down. Now, for this new version, I don't have to pull up anything. I just let it stitch. So I just hit start. Here's my needle. Those are my basting stitches. And you see how it jumped over? And I don't have to stop it or anything because it's not in the way. It's just no stress. And then the end of this design makes a tie off, and then it jumps and makes 2 stitches. So then that long jump at the end is a tail that I can bury as well. The ending is easy. It's the beginning that's hard. And so now all my designs are going to have this option. And like I said, single needle users don't have to worry because they can pull out their thread tail. You know, they can pull some thread out. They have more options to get a clean tie on, and I have a video for that on my SE600 where I pull on the top thread once the needle is down. I pull the top thread about 1 inch. And again, you have to make sure that you're very cognizant of the direction of how the stitching is starting. That's very important. You can't let the needle run over any threads that you're holding off to one side or the other. You basically, on a single needle, I mean, you really want to hold your threads in the opposite direction of the way it's stitching. Just like this, but we're letting the digitizing do the thinking for us. So you'll see then, let me cut this, cut it up here, that this, it really is a lot easier. It's more enjoyable, you know, to quilt in the hoop, and you have more fun and less stress. So here's the threads. They start here and they just come right up. And since there's 10 of them, I have noticed that sometimes at the beginning it does get caught on the back. And it's like this thread, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes a knot with the other, with the bobbin thread. I don't know why it does that. I didn't make a knot, but it's fine. And so then this just gets pulled up. You don't want your blade on though. And you can pull it like this if you want to make it less stress on your fabric. Just pull it and go like that. And now here we are. And there's a beautiful tie on there. It's just gorgeous because it had something to pull against. I mean, you can't even see it. But we still have to feed it to the back. This is the bobbin thread. It's shorter. But sometimes you can pull on the bobbin thread, even at the beginning here, and you can get a loop of top thread. There's a loop there. No, that wasn't a loop. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. If it's so clean, that's just me splitting this thread. It's so clean I can't get one. It's so nice and tight. So you have to feed this manually to the back to bury the threads. So in this case, again, I'm going to go in the same hole that it came out of, just to get it to the back. A lot of times I've noticed if you think you're going in the same hole, you still got to slant your needle towards the stitching for it to be in the correct position in the back. And there it is, it's right on. And I kind of split my threads. Really pull some slack out this time. And then we'll make our knot. Now this knot, since the bobbin thread is shorter, you only get about 4 inches. And that's the thing. I mean, I already had 10 stitches here. How many do you want to make? You know, the more you make, the more work it is. So I'll just take my finger, twist it, put my 2 fingers together like that, and then take the loop over. And again, I'll put my threads towards the stitching. I'll go 1/4 of an inch away and pull that. Oh, I'm not in the camera again. Sorry. So I have a knot 1/4 of an inch away. And now I can go underneath this stitch. Make sure I'm more than 1/4 inch though. So I'm in the batting. And then snag it. And again, if you push it in, you'll get your slack. And then a lot of times while it's still doubled up, I pull and snap it in at this point. It's stronger. The threads are stronger. And there I snapped it in. So there you go. And that's why I have to change my files, because even though this one has been changed, this size has been changed mostly for the multi-needle users, there could be a multi-needle user that wants to stitch this in a smaller version. So I have to change all of my sizes to be like this. I thought about leaving the original version in there for people with single needles, and I probably will, as long as the file doesn't get too big, because there's limits on my website server. So here it is up close. This is the one that we just did. It's really a tiny little dot. I mean, it's like nothing. And it'll never come out. And here's the back. So here was the other one that we did. That was the one that we did manually. Slightly bigger. And like I said, I just got lucky on that one. Here it is here. All right, well, I hope that was helpful for some people. If anybody ever has any problems, you can always contact me on Facebook, Lisa We Quilt, anytime. Okay, thanks.